Hi, and welcome to the 10th Annual Children's First Champions Breakfast. My name is Ayantu, and I'm a junior at St. Louis Park High School, and I'm the Events and Communication intern for Children's First, and I actually started my internship this past summer, and I've connected and met with so many amazing people through this internship, and overall, I'm just really grateful to be working at an organization that has such a positive impact on my community.
Hi, my name is Elizabeth, and I am a senior at St. Louis Park High School. I am the strategic planning intern for Children First, and I have loved to see how our community has worked together and grown throughout this difficult time. Ayantu and I are your hosts today, and we are so glad that you are here and taking the time out of your day to come support our organization, especially at such an early time in the morning.
We'd love for you guys to turn on your cameras. It's been so long since we've last seen each other, so if you feel comfortable, please do.
We'd also like to take the time to thank the following sponsors. You make it possible for us to do what we do all year round. So to our gold level sponsors at Citizens Independent Bank, thank you. To our bronze level sponsors at the St. Louis Park Public Schools and Community Foundation, St. Louis Park Rotary Foundation, and American Legion Post 282. Our supporter level sponsors at Crawford Mertz, Train, Western National Insurance Group, Armstrong, Torbeth, Skold, and Rydeen, Cunningham Group Architecture, Kraus Anderson Construction, Decor Tech, and UHL. And to our wonderful in-kind sponsors with the Prouty Project, Jackie Adelman Photography, and Youth Frontiers for providing us with this great space this morning.
We'd like to extend a special welcome to all the elected officials and community leaders that spend so much of their time and efforts towards public service. So thank you, Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan, State Senator Ron Latt, State Representatives Cheryl Youakim, Mayor Jake Spano, City Council members Larry Kraft, Margaret Rogg, Lynette Demolog, Rachel Harris, Tim Brawson, City Manager and Children First Executive Committee member Tom Harmening, Police Chief and Children First Executive Committee member Mike Harsey, Fire Chief Steve Coring, school board members Mary Tombach and Casey Colin Cox, and St. Louis Park Public School Superintendent and Children First Executive Committee member Aston Osai, Benilde St. Margaret's President Adam Ermentrout, and Children's First Executive Committee members Becky Backen, Paul Danick, Larissa Lee Kang, Mandy Robinson, and Mary Wagner. Thank you, guys.
The theme for this year's breakfast is Thriving in New Ways. Our first contributors are a perfect example of how families and organizations in St. Louis Park have adapted to the ever-changing environment and created something truly special through these experiences.
St. Louis Park's Library Youth Services librarian Dana Strahason and local families felt the loss of story time this past year with COVID, but they actually adjusted virtually and are still able to keep that connection between local families and the library. And it's just a really fun thing that many children in our community look forward to. And they've actually created a welcome song video just for you, so feel free to dance or sing along to it. That's
Hello, friends. My name is Miss Dana, and I am the Youth Services Librarian at the St. Louis Park Library. I am here today with some of my fabulous Storytime families who have been attending virtual Storytime with me. And we wanted to say hello. Are you ready, friends? Here we go.
Sing one more time.
Hello. Hello, friends. Hello, friends. It's time to say hello. Hello, wonderful.
A great way to start our day. Thank you to St. Louis Park's library and the children for creating this amazing video for us.
The next part of our program is a student voice video made by volunteers from the St. Louis Park High School. We spent time talking about the challenges of COVID and the ways that we've grown throughout this time. Let's check it out.
Hi, we are students from St. Louis Park High School, and this past year has brought a lot of challenges for everyone, but we really wanted to create this video to share our experiences with COVID this past year, the good and the bad, and overall really just wanted to share our experiences with adults in our community in hopes to strengthen connections between adults and youth. So I hope you guys enjoy this video and it gives you deeper insight of how youth in your community have been impacted by COVID.
I think one of the hardest parts of quarantine was probably finding the motivation to actually do your work, since there's nobody over here looking over your shoulder and telling you what to do and what to not do. In the beginning of quarantine, it was difficult having to find a schedule since it was just really new in general. But as time went on, I figured out what was best for me and I just stuck with it, and that really helped with my coping.
One of the biggest challenges for me during this time is being able to connect with my friends without being able to see them at school. I'm a pretty social person, so I really miss being able to go to school in person.
I think my biggest challenge during this time has been the isolation and loneliness of distance learning.
My biggest challenge during this time has definitely been just like separating my schoolwork from my time to myself and making sure that I'm doing my schoolwork in this different area so that it's really easy for me to like compartmentalize different parts of my life because they're all really happening in the same space.
Something that's challenging for me during this time is staying motivated. Usually I just want to stay in bed all day and do the bare minimum until my day's done with, but I realize staying in bed and doing nothing makes me feel a lot worse. There's been a lot of things I've struggled with, I guess, this past year, but one that I really struggled with in the beginning was not being able to see anyone, because I'm a really social person and I just love being around people and seeing my friends and making people laugh and just smile.
At the beginning of online school, I had a hard time paying attention throughout the whole day. I would try to do homework between class periods, but I felt like I couldn't focus for more than 30 minutes without burning out. Before, I felt completely overwhelmed at how unorganized my desk was. I had textbooks over here, notebooks over here, and papers just strewn about. However, by organizing my materials into a bin, I was able to reduce my clutter and centralize my homework into one space. I also started a planner where I would write my daily homework assignments and activities after school. This helped me stay organized and just understand exactly the pure scope of what homework and activities I had that day. My family and I figured out that taking quick 10-minute breaks away from my desk could help me get through the day without crashing. Some of these activities included taking walks around the block, folding laundry, and reading a nice book.
I think not being able to see people has made me realize that I'm okay with being alone sometimes, and I've become a really independent person and started to do things I enjoy.
The first thing I like to do to kind of just calm down or hopefully have a better, more relaxing day is to clean my room. And I know this doesn't sound very relaxing, but if you just put on some music and just do it, at the end of the day you feel more accomplished and your mind is a lot less cluttered. Another thing that I like to do that's super easy is to just light a candle. This not only makes your room smell fantastic, but it also just kind of relaxes you and puts you in more of a calm mood. And then finally, if I'm ever having a bad day, I think the best thing that I do is to just get a really good night's sleep. The next day you can wake up feeling refreshed and with a better mindset.
During quarantine, I have started making lists as shown. and I've been checking off the things that I've done in the day.
Listening to audiobooks, and I get really into those, so that's always fun. And kind of just reading and watching TV, cleaning up my room, or organizing things has also been really helpful and made me feel productive.
I have a little more time to myself right now, so I have done more like self-care routine stuff, like doing face masks, or painting my nails.
Do you know who Jeff Gladney
provides
is?
me with a little relaxation during the day.
I've been able to spend more time with my family, and I can always text or call my friends. And so those are the ways I combat the loneliness. Other activities I've been doing include drawing, working out, Tai Chi, reading. Right now I'm reading about Ebola. It's a nice calming story to help me go to sleep. In the morning, after I get dressed, I usually have breakfast. Sometimes it's healthy and sometimes it's not. And sometimes I'll eat it with family. I like to play piano.
For the growth and assessment piece of it, I think the most important thing you can do for growth and assessment is just really set goals, whether those are daily goals or larger overarching ones. Like for example, I set a daily goal every day that I need to get done this much homework or get a workout in or whatever it is, even if it's small. It's really helpful in making sure that I'm accomplishing things every day. And then a larger overarching goal is like maintaining a certain GPA for the semester or something is really helpful for measuring your personal growth.
So what keeps me motivated throughout the day is I like to incorporate 1 hour of doing something that I love. These things are like sketching, painting, writing poetry, reading, practicing yoga, hanging out with my dog, or phoning a friend.
One of the 40 assets that has been most useful for me during this time is family support and definitely being able to do more creative activities. I've took up painting and I've also started playing the piano again like I used to when I was little.
For me, the most important asset so far has definitely been planning and decision making, because I think it's really important. You have a ton of time to think during this time, and so it's a great time to plan your future, and then also even simple things like just planning your day out, setting a schedule for yourself have been really, really helpful for me.
Self-care has been a huge part of this past year for me, and one thing I've done to help me feel calm is I've always loved reading, but I think the pandemic has definitely deepened that hobby, and I've read so many amazing books this past year, and overall reading has just been a great way I've been able to, I guess, escape from reality and just be able to focus on myself.
The biggest thing that keeps me motivated is my future. I'm not 100% sure what I want to do, but I do know I want to be successful, and this is really what helps keep me going. One thing that I've learned is that us as humans, we can't control what's around us, but we can control ourselves. And by quitting bad habits and starting to do things that you love, you can really help make yourself feel a lot better.
What's next for me? I'm a senior, like I said, so college is coming up. I'm getting all my applications done and stuff. And then I'm just really excited to get everything back to normal with sports, with school, being able to see my friends all the time, and then go off to college and have a great time and get an awesome education.
One way that adults could be there for children during this time is making sure that they check in with them often and make sure that they're doing well both physically and mentally.
That's probably what I miss most is being around people and having those day-to-day interactions. And so really just being there for us and for like offering opportunities to just chat and to have like fun experiences during this crazy time and this time when everyone is confused and kind of sad has been just really, I'm very grateful for that. So thank you.
I think that the best way that adults can be supportive during this time, especially teachers, is just being understanding about how difficult and kind of weird this time is. So being flexible and understanding that just like sometimes things just can't be done on time, and just being there for students to talk to you.
For the support systems, my family has been really awesome. They're very understanding that we've kind of not had a great year so far. This is my senior year, so they've been awesome. And then my friends have been great too. It's been really nice to be able to chat with them during classes and stuff.
We hope this video has given you insight into how the pandemic and today's current events have created struggles and emphasized strength in children and teens in our community. We so appreciate you all for allowing us to have this platform to speak our truth and to advocate for the voices of youth in St. Louis Park and throughout our greater community. We are so grateful also to the adults who have helped us reach these milestones and checkpoints for growth and success. We wish you all the very best. Thank you for supporting Children First.
That was amazing. Thank you so much, students who participated, and a number of you are on this call. So if anybody's bored, click through that gallery and give a shout out to those awesome students. We appreciate your creativity and your thoughtfulness, and we'll be sharing your message more widely over the next few weeks. Some of the strategies that they shared are really awesome mental health strategies for kids and for adults in our community. Apologies for the doorbell. Learning curve. We did not turn that function off until we started the meeting, and now we can't. So sorry, and thank you for the grace. I'm Margaret Gagno, the Executive Director of Children First, and a year ago, I was entrusted with a precious community resource, which was the leadership of this organization. I think this community initiative that we have is phenomenal, and the way that Children First harnesses all of the caring power of all of you out there and other adults in our communities to build a community dedicated to the success of our kids is just special. And so I'm going to share now a couple of the shots from last year. If you remember this, look at these disturbing practices happening. Look at that. It's just frightening to see how unsafe we all were. And then the very next day, here was the headline. So next day after the breakfast, first COVID case we reported out. I don't want to believe in coincidences. I think we spread good things here. But really, that whole experience drove the theme of today's breakfast, which is thriving in new ways, because we really put ourselves to that challenge this whole past year. When I first came on board, our leadership team was really looking at the excellence of just nearly 3 decades of success in our community, building a DNA that we care about kids and put them at the center. And we really challenged ourselves to look more broadly, not just assume that we were moving forward in the right path, but to really look at data across lots of indicators. And we spent a lot of time doing that and thinking about how we can strengthen the efforts of all of us. And it's been a really interesting journey. I'm going to share a tiny taste of that process with you right now, and you'll get to participate in a poll. So if we look at this slide, it shows just a couple indicators of youth well-being. And they read kind of academic-y, but actually school readiness is really not about academics, but more a little bit, but more broadly, you know, how do we get kids ready for school? How do we as a community prepare them for that first day through the door? So here's my question to you, and you can go ahead and put that poll up. When you think about our community, do you feel like there's a disparity in academic results for kids who live in low-income households? So go ahead and vote. And so this is as compared to more affluent kids. I will tell you this data comes from St. Louis Park Public High School, FAST, and MCA scores. but we are very interested more broadly in all of the schools in our community, and we'll get to that as we move along. But this is going to really talk about the data from the public schools. Give you one more second to weigh in. We're pretty good. Let's go ahead and close out the poll. Show us the results because I'm super curious to see. And Preston is our awesome producer. He's going to pull up the results. Thank you, Preston.
We have 78% polling right now, and I will share it. Here it is.
Oh, interesting. Interesting. Wow. So we've done this throughout the winter with groups of students, and they had a really different take than you. So we don't have enough time today, but let me tell you, I'll be coming back to the community with some kind of thinking around that. The answer was 16 to 30, and I think we were all over the board. Let's do one other. Let's just take one other quick look. This one is, do we think, if we get the poll up there, do you think there's a disparity in academic results for kids of color in St. Louis Park? So again, if you could just weigh in where you think we're at. And again, apologies, this is just public schools for now because we're slowly collecting data from all of our schools. Take another minute to get your vote in. Where do you think we're at?
We have 70%.
Okay, let's go ahead and close the poll. And
all right.
What did it look like, Preston? I'm super curious.
Here it is.
Wow. Okay, this was much closer to what the students were saying. And what's interesting is it's actually the 49% and above. And if you close that out, let me just show you a quick snapshot so you can see the data behind that and why it's important. So this first slide is about getting kids ready for kindergarten. And again, it's about our community. What do we do to get them in that door? And the average was 69%. But when you look at that deeper dive, you can see we've got groups of kids down at the 28% rate. So 1 in 4 ready, low income kids, 1 in 2 ready at 48%. So go to the next slide to see those gaps a little more clearly. These are the gaps for, race and ethnicity, socioeconomic. So it's kind of motivating to us as an organization because as a community, we know what we can do to really put our arms around the whole community. We've already done it for 3 decades. Now we're talking about doing it in a way that has a little more discipline and rigor around driving key factors. And so that's what you're going to see from us in the next year or so is shifting our culture a little bit more to stay really attuned to data to inform how we move forward so that when we get a call to build like the central clinic, we know we're targeting it to outcomes that will yield results that really matter long-term for our community. I'm going to just have you take a look, I think, at the early grade reading in case you were curious, because I don't want to hide the ball. So this indicator is the #1 indicator of high school graduation. If you're reading proficiently by the end of 3rd grade, you're going to more likely graduate from high school, and you can see similar disparities. And the next slide shows those gaps even more closely. So again, this really motivated us to operate in a way that really was more powerfully focused on all our kids and getting everyone moving forward and, accessing bright futures together. So with that, I'm really honored to announce 3 powerful new partnerships as a part of something that we're calling the Children First, the Park Partnership for Success. The next slide shows you our first level of partnerships. This is national. AmeriCorps has awarded us a full-time position. Please help us. We're looking for someone to join our staff. They'll start in August. We'll push out information about that opportunity later, but we would love to get your help. And that piece will have us lots of statewide partners who really enrich the work we're doing as well. Strive Together, you can go to the next slide, is a national partnership. They have 77 communities nationwide. This is a very prestigious membership, and we just got our formal response over the last couple of weeks. And so this organization really helps us access resources that are much deeper that we can bring to our community that otherwise would not be invested here and really deploy in the work of our champions, working kind of hand in hand with adults in our community to support kids. I think what's really important about this slide too is that these critical milestones are what we'll be holding ourselves accountable for. And they're not just academic, they're social emotional, they're health, they're kind of whole child. So we're excited to have kind of a framework to put the work that we've been doing onto and really kind of dive deeper on how are we achieving at population level outcomes. Finally, this last slide shows you some of the state level partnerships, and I'm really excited to announce that we've been accepted as members of the Minnesota Education Partnerships Coalition. This group is has had direct funding from the state legislature. They are very powerful allies to have in the work. We will learn a lot from each other. And I think the opportunities that we'll have by being accepted into this group are going to be just phenomenal for our community. The pace of change, I will say, in the last few months has been a little intense. So I'm excited to come back to you. Now we kind of come back and invite you into this work. So stay tuned. Communications will be kind of slow until we're kind of up and running and have moved to action. But by the time we bring new staffing on board in August, we should have very robust opportunities for Children First champions to plug in ways that I hope that you find exciting and that you feel energized by. I also want to share that if you're interested in having us come and talk to any of your groups to share more about this, please let us know. We hope by this time next year to be sharing with you a report card on community level outcomes for children and youth in St. Louis Park that excites you, and we hope you'll see a role for yourself in the work. We also hope you'll continue to be as inspired by Children First as they have inspired us all for these past 30 years. With that, I'm going to turn it over to State Representative Cheryl Youakim to speak to you a little bit.
My name is Cheryl Youakim, and I have the honor and the privilege of representing St. Louis Park and Hopkins at the state capitol. I wish that we could be enjoying breakfast together in person, but it just gives us something to look forward to next year. During the last 2 years at the Capitol, I served as the chair of the Education Policy Committee, and now I serve as the chair of the Property Tax Division. In those roles, I've seen the tremendous effort that our citizens put into improving our communities, especially the impressive work of Children's First and the positive impact you've had on the children and families in St. Louis Park. In recent years, I've also had the wonderful opportunity to work as an educational support professional at Aquila Elementary. It is there that I truly saw firsthand how our St. Louis Park schools, our cities, our businesses, and engaged community members partner to create an environment that will support all of our children. Your organization has worked to engage those partners and trained many Children's First champions that have helped to develop assets in our kids, assets that will serve them well as they move forward through life. It is because of your wonderful work that I am so excited to add my voice of support as Children First launches a Cradle to Career partnership. This new program will allow Children First to focus on data that will show us how well our kids are doing in and out of school. The Park Partnership for Success will then be able to concentrate resources where they are needed the most. Children First has a long track record of helping adults engage in activities that are meaningful for our youth development. The new partnership is the logical next step. I also want to congratulate Children's First for being accepted as a member of the prestigious Strive Together Cradle to Career Network and the Minnesota Education Partnerships Coalition. Both memberships represent opportunities for St. Louis Park to continue to shine in its commitment to success for all of our kids. Please join me today in congratulating and supporting Children First on their next exciting adventure. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Representative Youakim, for taking time during the busy legislative session to share words of support. We appreciate your leadership so much. And once again, if you feel comfortable, please turn your cameras on. We're so excited to see everyone, and we actually want to take a group picture. So I'll just wait a few seconds for everyone to turn their cameras on, and then I'll just and then smile for a few seconds while Jackie takes screenshots. So yeah. Okay. Keep smiling, guys. Ready, set, go.
Keep saying it.
Keep smiling. Go. Keep smiling.
All right.
Yeah, okay, we're good. Thank you, guys.
All right. Speaking of leadership, our next speaker has been a true role model for public service. He has served on the Children First Executive Committee for over a decade, and his creativity and generosity have helped shape our organization. You may have heard that he is retiring this year, but before he could make good on his promise, we asked him to share his passion for Children First with you. Please welcome SLP City Manager Tom Harmening.
Hello, everybody. My name's Tom Harmening, and I've had the privilege of serving as your city manager for the past 17 years. In that role, I've had the opportunity to sit on the executive committee of Children First and see firsthand what a difference the organization makes in the lives of our kids. What I'm especially proud of is how for over 25 years, the community has wrapped its arms around our kids by its support of Children First. You may have heard that I'll be hanging up my city manager hat in a few months. One of the things that I'll miss is seeing how Children First new partnerships bring new opportunities to kids in St. Louis Park. This is a pivotal moment in our community, and I'm excited for the change that these new relationships will bring. Based on what you heard from Margaret about our plans for the coming year, it's my privilege to ask you to make a financial investment in our ongoing success. This isn't just an investment in Children First. This is an investment in the success of St. Louis Park. I believe it is one of the most important investments we can make. If you've already made a gift to Children First, like I have, thank you. If not, there are a couple of ways you can give right now. One would be to text Children First, all one word, to 243-725. Again, Children First, 243-725, and follow the prompts. Or you can go online to children-first.org/give. While you're at it, while you have your credit card open and out, we'd love to have you consider making a monthly gift if that works for you. Every one of you is giving the gift of your time by being with us today. As a special thank you, while you go online or text, the St. Louis Park High School Orchestra Director, Koo Lee, and his students would like to share their talent with you. The students will play Andante Festivo by Gene Sibelius, a piece that they chose for its big and colorful melodies and its warmth. Please enjoy, and thank you for giving.
Thank you so much for attending a very different but unique Children's First Champions Breakfast. We appreciate your support so much.
We hope you have a great rest of your day and that you've learned a lot about how Children First has helped our community. And we thank you for coming so early today and spending part of your morning with us. We really appreciate it.